you were either an Emmitt guy or a Barry guy growing up, because one was drafted in '89, one was drafted in 1990.
Barry Sanders. Was he really better than Emmitt Smith? Barry Sanders made defenders look unemployed. Emmitt Smith made defenses quit. One was impossible to tackle. The other was impossible to remove from the game plan. One retired early by fax.
We'll never see somebody like Barry Sanders again.
It was lightning from the first snap that he took. Because of that, Detroiters were just all in.
With no farewell tour, no press conference, no goodbye. Just a one-page letter to the Wichita Eagle, his hometown newspaper, and a legacy frozen in time. The other stayed until he had more rushing yards than any player in the history of the National Football League. Barry Sanders. Was he really better than Emmitt Smith? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The answer depends entirely on what you think the word better actually means. If better means production, records, championships, playoff dominance, and Super Bowl rings, Emmitt Smith has a case that is almost impossible to argue against. But if better means pure rushing genius, the ability to turn nothing into something, to make all pro defenders grab air, to carry a broken offense for 10 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons against defenses that had one job and one job only, then you are talking about something else entirely. Here is the hot take that is going to ignite the comments section. Barry Sanders was the better runner.
The best pure runner, put the ball in his belly, is Barry Sanders. There's no question about that.
Emmitt Smith was the better football player. That one sentence is going to make Barry fans feel disrespected and Emmitt fans feel validated. And then push it harder. Only one of them could control a football game when every single person in the stadium knew exactly what was coming.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Or we just talking about pure running. Because when you think about Emmitt, there were times, to be honest, there were times that Barry got taken out on the goal line.
Right.
That never happened to Emmitt.
And only one of them could turn a completely doomed play into a 70-yard touchdown without needing a single perfect block. That's the engine. Let's get into it. The Rise. Wichita, Kansas, July 16, 1968. William and Shirley Sanders welcomed their 7th of 11 children into the world. A quiet kid. A kid who let his legs do the talking. While Emmitt Smith was across the country in Pensacola, studying Walter Payton tapes until they wore out, Barry Sanders was being overlooked at Wichita North High School, playing second string as a blocking back behind a player coaches thought had more upside. He never complained. He waited. His senior year, he finally got the starting job and rushed for 1,417 yards. That earned him a scholarship to Oklahoma State University. Not Oklahoma, not Nebraska, not a powerhouse. Oklahoma State. The program nobody thought would produce the most electric runner the sport had ever seen. Then came 1988, the year Barry Sanders didn't just have a great college season. He had a season so obscene, so statistically violent, that the NCAA had to look up whether any of it was actually legal. In one single season, 2,628 rushing yards, 39 total touchdowns, a single season NCAA record, 7.6 yards per carry, 100-plus yards in every single game of the season. Here is the detail that gets buried under the headline every single time. Coach Pat Jones pulled Barry in the fourth quarter of several blowouts. If Barry had played full games all season, 3,000 yards was a realistic number. Barry won the Heisman Trophy in a historic landslide, becoming the consensus best college football player in the country. The Detroit Lions held the 3rd pick in the 1989 NFL Draft. They spent it on a 5'8", 203-pound running back the scouts said was too small, too compact, not durable enough to survive the NFL. Sound familiar? Every great running back in this era was told he was too something. Barry Sanders didn't respond to skeptics with words. He never did. He responded with film. The dominance. Barry Sanders rushed for 1,470 yards in his first NFL season. NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Pro Bowl. First Team All-Pro. Year 2, 1,304 yards. Year 3, 1,548 yards. Year 4, 1,352 yards. Year 5, 1,115 yards. His down year, the one where injuries limited him. Year 6, 1,883 yards. Every single season, over 1,000 yards. Every single one. In 10 NFL seasons, Barry Sanders never once failed to crack 1,000 rushing yards. Not once. Not when defenses loaded the box specifically to stop him. Not when Detroit's quarterbacks were throwing 36 interceptions in a single 2-year stretch. Not when opposing defensive coordinators went into game week saying out loud, "We know Barry is getting the ball. We're going to stack the line. There is nothing Detroit can do that surprises us." And here's the number that anchors the entire pro-Barry argument. 5 yards per carry for his entire career. 3,062 carries, 15,269 yards. That career average is not just impressive. Against the context in which Barry played, behind a frequently outmatched offensive line, on a team that never won a playoff game beyond the second round, surrounded by an offense that defenses could game plan knowing the run was coming. It is arguably the most remarkable efficiency number the running back position has ever produced. Emmitt Smith's career average was 4.2 yards per carry, behind one of the greatest offensive lines in NFL history. Barry's 5 yards per carry came in spite of everything around him. And yet, the anti-Barry argument has a weapon, and it is devastating. The ugly truth, the playoff problem. NFC Wildcard Playoff, January 8, 1995, Pontiac Silverdome, Detroit Lions versus Green Bay Packers. Detroit hands Barry Sanders the ball 13 times. The Packers know it is coming. They load the box. They dare Detroit's quarterback to beat them. Barry Sanders finishes the game with -1 rushing yard on 13 carries. Detroit totals -4 rushing yards as an offense. Green Bay wins 16-12. Let that land. The most dangerous individual runner in NFL history. One of the greatest players ever to put on cleats. -1 rushing yard in a playoff elimination game. The most terrifying runner ever once had a playoff game where he finished below 0. That is a real, verified, completely explosive fact, and it will make Barry fans furious. But hold on. Before you write the verdict, consider the full context. Barry Sanders played those 6 career playoff games surrounded by Scott Mitchell, Rodell Lofton, and a revolving cast of offensive dysfunction. Defenses didn't just game plan for Barry in January. They eliminated every other option first and then waited. Was that Barry failing? Or was that Detroit's broken offensive ecosystem finally suffocating even the most gifted running back alive? Over 6 career playoff games, Barry finished with 386 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Emmitt Smith had 1,586 playoff rushing yards and 21 total postseason touchdowns across 17 postseason games. The playoff comparison is not close, and it cannot be argued away, but it also cannot be judged in a vacuum. One arm, one game, one dynasty. The day the Cowboys followed him into January. Before we talk about 1997, the season that defines the pro-Barry universe, we have to establish why the pro-Emmitt argument is so powerful it makes grown men in sports bars lose their minds. January 2nd, 1994, East Rutherford, New Jersey, Giants Stadium, one of the coldest, loudest, most hostile venues in the NFL, the frozen turf of the Meadowlands. Dallas Cowboys versus New York Giants. Winner take all for the NFC East title. Home field advantage in the playoffs, and a first-round bye. 80,000 Giants fans who wanted nothing more than to end Dallas's season on their field. Late in the first half, Emmitt Smith catches a tackle from Giants safety Greg Jackson and is driven into the frozen turf. He stays down. Trainers sprint onto the field. X-rays confirm a separated right shoulder. The doctors are blunt. He cannot lift his arm above his chest. Emmitt's response was simple. He was not coming out. The trainers cut apart a pair of knee pads, fashioned them into a makeshift shoulder brace, and taped his arm to his body. The Giants rally to tie the game 13-13. The game goes to overtime. Head coach Jimmy Johnson pulls Emmitt aside before the overtime period and offers to rest him. "Let me play until I can't play." On 9 of 11 overtime plays, Dallas hands the ball to Emmitt. On one play, Emmitt stiff-arms Lawrence Taylor, the greatest defensive player of all time, using his injured arm to gain extra yards. With 4:16 left in overtime, Eddie Murray drills a 41-yard field goal. Cowboys win 16-13. Final stat line: 32 carries, 168 rushing yards, 10 receptions, 61 receiving yards, 229 total yards, with one functioning arm. After the game, Emmitt spent the night in a Dallas hospital. Michael Irvin was in tears, thanking him. Giants coach Dan Reeves said afterward, "A lot of people can play with an injured shoulder, but a running back is unbelievable." Barry had the run that made you rewind the tape. Emmitt had the game that made an entire franchise follow him into January. And 3 weeks later, in Super Bowl 28 against the Buffalo Bills, with Dallas trailing 13-6 at halftime, Emmitt took over in the third quarter and never looked back. 30 carries, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. Super Bowl MVP. At 24 years old, Emmitt Smith became the only player in NFL history to win the NFL MVP, the rushing title, the Super Bowl championship, and the Super Bowl MVP all in the same season. Nobody has done it since. That is what Emmitt Smith built. A body of work you could count, verify, and frame on a wall. Barry Sanders built something different, something you had to see to believe. And on one September afternoon in Pontiac, he gave the world the most perfect example of exactly what that meant. The day Harlan Barnett reached for a man who wasn't there. Emmitt Smith's defining moment was about will, about pain, about a man refusing to leave the field, even when his body was begging him to. Barry Sanders' defining moment was about something that cannot be coached, cannot be schemed, and cannot be explained by any coach with a whiteboard. September 25th, 1994, Pontiac, Michigan. The Silver Dome, a domed stadium so loud on game day that visiting teams sometimes couldn't hear their own signals at the line. Nearly 60,000 fans packed inside, the air electric, the crowd hungry. The Detroit Lions hosting the New England Patriots on a Sunday afternoon when Barry Sanders was in the middle of one of the finest seasons of his career. This was not a championship game. This was not a playoff moment. This was a regular season Sunday in September, and what happened next made the NFL's list of the 100 greatest plays of all time. Barry takes the handoff. The lane is not clean. The blocking is not perfect. New England safety Harlan Barnett reads the play correctly. He is exactly where he is supposed to be. He has the angle. He has position. By every law of football physics, this is a short gain. Maybe 3 yards. Maybe a stop for no gain. And then Barry Sanders does something that has no technical name in any playbook ever written. He plants his right foot. He spins, not around Barnett, not past him. He spins him. Barnett's body rotates the wrong direction entirely. He is grabbing air. His momentum carries him one way, while Barry is already cutting back across the entire field the other way, leaving a trail of Patriots defenders frozen in place, staring at a man who was just there and is now somewhere completely different. The NFL later ranked that run number 59 on its 100 greatest plays list, calling it an epic touchdown where Sanders toys with New England's defense. Toys with them. Watch the film and you will see defenders stop, not because they give up, because their brains cannot process what their eyes are reporting. One man is running one direction, then he is running the opposite direction, and nobody touched him. Nobody even came close. That run is the entire Barry Sanders argument compressed into a single play. If Emmitt Smith was the back who proved greatness over 4 quarters, Barry Sanders was the back who could prove it in 4 seconds. And no run explains that better than the 1994 Patriots touchdown. The play where Barry did not find a hole. He invented one. One defender spun in the wrong direction. Barry was already gone. That is not football. That is something else entirely. And then came 1997, the detonation. Now, 1997, year 9 of Barry Sanders' career. The Detroit Lions, a franchise that has not won a playoff game since the 1991 season. Through the first 2 games of the season, Barry Sanders has 53 rushing yards, 53 total yards. Against Tampa Bay in Week 1, he finishes with just 20 yards. The offense looks broken. The season looks like another Detroit collapse. The Barry skeptics are already composing their takes. And then Barry Sanders detonates. Over the next 14 weeks, he piles up 2,053 rushing yards, enough to win his one and only NFL Most Valuable Player award. He adds 305 receiving yards for 2,358 combined yards from scrimmage. The Lions finish 9-7. Barry is named AP NFL co-MVP with Brett Favre. That comeback inside a historic season is the documentary moment. The league had 2 games to bury him. He spent the next 14 weeks making every defense in football look stupid. And here is the context that makes 2,053 yards almost incomprehensible. Detroit's quarterback that year was Scott Mitchell, a man who threw 14 interceptions with 19 touchdowns on the season. Their supporting cast was thin. Defenses knew the ball was going to Barry, and he still finished with over 2,000 rushing yards. Barry didn't just run in 1997. He outran the entire concept of what a running back was supposed to accomplish without a functional offense around him. Barry Sanders didn't need a perfect offense. He was the offense. And that 1997 season sits inside a 10-year run of consistent dominance that has no modern equivalent. The 1994 season, 883 rushing yards, 44 catches, 2,166 yards from scrimmage. The 1996 season, 1,553 yards. Barry never disappeared. He never had a down year that lasted more than a few games before he reminded you who he was. He made the Pro Bowl 10 times. He was named first-team All-Pro 6 times. He was the most terrifying individual threat at the position from the moment he entered the league until the moment he walked away. The uncomfortable verdict. So here we are. The courtroom is in session. Evidence on both sides. Let's read it out loud. The Emmitt case. 18,355 career rushing yards. The NFL all-time record. 164 rushing touchdowns. The most in NFL history for a running back. 3 Super Bowl championships. 1 NFL MVP, 1 Super Bowl MVP, 4 rushing titles, 8 Pro Bowls, 4 first-team All-Pro selections, 1,586 playoff rushing yards, and 21 total postseason touchdowns in 17 playoff games, and a performance 229 total yards with a separated shoulder in overtime that defines what playing through pain actually looks like. The Barry case. 15,269 career rushing yards in just 10 seasons, an average of 1,527 yards per year. 5.0 career yards per carry, 10 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons without a single miss, 1 NFL MVP, 10 Pro Bowls, 6 first-team All-Pro selections, the single greatest individual rushing season in the modern era, and a highlight reel so violent and so impossible it still breaks the internet 30 years later. Here is the line that ends this debate and starts 1,000 arguments simultaneously. Emmitt Smith was asked to execute inevitability. Barry Sanders was asked to manufacture impossibility. Executing inevitability behind the Great Wall of Dallas. 4 rushing titles, 3 Super Bowls, the all-time rushing record is greatness. There is no other word for it. Manufacturing 15,269 rushing yards at 5.0 yards per carry behind Detroit's rotating cast of offensive dysfunction against defenses built entirely around stopping you for 10 seasons without a single miss. That might be something beyond greatness. If you needed one running back to win a Super Bowl, you take Emmitt. If you needed one running back to survive a broken offense and turn nothing into something, you might take Barry. But if you ask who was actually better at the pure, isolated act of running the football, that answer gets very uncomfortable very fast. Barry Sanders. Was he really better than Emmitt Smith? The honest answer is this: Barry was the better runner. Emmitt was the better football player. And the reason that distinction matters, the reason this debate never ends, is that football requires both. Final verdict. This is not a soft landing. This is a verdict. If the question is who was more talented, it is Barry Sanders. If the question is who scared you more in open space, it is Barry Sanders. If the question is who you would draft to carry a broken offense on his back and still gain 5 yards a carry, it is Barry Sanders. But if the question is who you trust to win in January, protect a lead, finish drives, survive 25 carries, catch the ball out of the backfield, score the touchdown when the season is on the line, and be the beating heart of a dynasty for an entire decade, it is Emmitt Smith every single time. Barry Sanders was the running back you could never explain. Emmitt Smith was the running back you could never replace. If this one hit differently, smash that like button right now and subscribe to End Zone Exposed for more NFL documentaries that go deeper than any highlight reel. Drop a comment below. Team Barry or Team Emmitt? The greatest pure runner or the greatest winning back? We want to hear you argue. That argument is exactly what we live for. End Zone Exposed is where the truth always scores.